Hi, I'm Shonda Miles. 4 questions to think about when it comes to your time. 4 questions to think about when it comes to your time. The first one is, where did it go? So if you track your time on a calendar, you can see all during the day where your time went. You know, what were you doing? Were you in meetings? Were you on the phone? Were you playing games? Were you on social media? Where did the time go? It is super important that you look at where the time went. So if you have it on your calendar, you can go and see where the time went. And then you can start to kind of have a plan of saying, okay, this was a waste of time. Maybe I should do less of this. Maybe I cut this down to 10 minutes. Maybe I do this 30 minutes. Maybe I reduce. And you can just kind of evaluate, okay? And then you look at, do I have the things that are important to me, the things that I value, like my family? Do I have family time? Do I have time with my spouse on my calendar? And then am I doing what's on my calendar? And then the next one is, that's number 1. Number 2 is, am I tracking it? So I want to know, if I said there was 2 hours of family time every night, we were going to eat dinner every night together. When I look at my calendar, did I sit down and eat with my family 7 days a week? Did I sit down and eat with my family 7 days a week? Did I sit down and have time with my spouse on Friday night? So I got to look at this. I gotta see where the time went. I gotta track it. If I'm not tracking it, then I don't know. So I gotta track and see when we don't track it on a calendar, or however you want to do it, electronically or paper, you don't know where the time went. You don't know where the time was wasted. You don't know that you were actually on social media 6 hours that day when you thought you were just on there for an hour. And so when you track it, you can really see where the holes are. You can see you actually spent 8 hours watching TV instead of 2. And so you don't know that you stayed up to 2 a.m. 4 nights that week watching TV. So when you track it, you can see where the time actually went. Number 3 is, what do I value? So what we value is important. It goes kind of with number 4. Number 4 is, what are my priorities? So whatever my priorities are, my calendar should indicate what my priorities are. So I can say with my mouth, my priorities are my family, but if my family's not on my calendar, then they're not my priority. Just like with my time with God. If I say that I'm a Christian and I love God, then I ought to have time on my calendar that I'm spending time with God every single day. Same thing with value. I'm looking at, okay, what do I value? And then what does my time say about what I value? And so you got to be looking at these things, because this is important. We can waste all week long. Every single day we can waste it, because if we're not tracking it, we don't know where the time went. If we don't have it planned, we don't have a plan. So the time will escape us. We'll waste time every single day. If we don't track it, we don't know where the time went. We just know the time went, and we can't get it back. So you got to make sure you're tracking. You know where your time is. You got to make sure that you make the first things the first thing, the most important thing, the main thing. So you got to be looking at your calendar and saying, okay, in my calendar, the most important things to me are on my calendar first. I value my family. My family is a priority, so they're on my calendar first. My time with God is most important over everything. So I have that on my calendar. I know that Friday night is date night with my spouse, so that's on my calendar. These are things that are priorities to me. It lets me know what I'm valuing. So you got to look at your calendar and say, okay, you got these spaces where you don't have anything scheduled. And I believe it's good to have some white space, because you don't want to have every single moment, every minute of the day filled with something. You need time to think. You need time to relax. You need time to rest. But when it comes to things that matter, they should be on your calendar. And then you should know where you have these pockets of time where you could stick in things that need to be done, but you don't have a place. You don't know where that you can put them, So let's just say, for example, you got a project that's going to take 3 hours. You schedule 3 hours, but the project you complete it in 2 hours and 10 minutes. Well, you don't have anything to put in that spot, that 50 minutes, and you waste that time scrolling on social media because you're bored, because you're waiting until the next meeting. No, you need to have a list of things that you can just, when you have small pockets of time, that you can do, so you don't waste any time. And we are good at wasting time, and then we're good at not knowing where the time went, or we think we know where the time went and it actually went somewhere else. So track your time, plan your time out, and then track it. See that it actually go the way you planned. And then you got to look at what you value in your priorities. Super important that you know these things, that what's important to you. So these are just 4 questions to ask yourself when it comes to your time and how you can manage your time better.